everyone. It's great to be here with you today in this first virtual Pisco tasting that we're organizing, the Embassy of Peru here in the UK, in collaboration with the Latin American Travel Association, LATA, and of course with the help of our trade office here in London. Thanks to both, especially LATA. I see familiar faces around the screen. It's good to see you, and we hope you enjoy yourselves this evening. Many, or at least some of you, might be familiar with Pisco, the emblematic spirit of Peru. For those who aren't, Pisco is obtained from the distillation of fresh musts of fermented Pisquera grapes grown only in the southern coast of Peru. And it's our iconic national drink due to its cultural importance, quality, and flavors. In fact, Pisco was declared National Cultural Heritage by the National Institute of Culture of Peru in 1988. And we celebrate Pisco Sour Day every first Saturday of February. We just missed that one a few weeks ago. As well as we also celebrate the Pisco National Day in July. And in 2005, Peru registered the appellation of origin at the World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO, just so you get a measure of how important it is for us. So with a history of more than 400 years, Pisco is gaining more popularity every day in cocktail bars around the world due to its unique characteristics and versatility, including in many of London's most popular bars. Contrary to what you might think, Pisco can be enjoyed in many different ways, two of which you will discover shortly. Today, we've prepared this special event where you'll be able to prepare your own Pisco-based cocktails, the Chilcano that I just mentioned, and Pisco Sour, with the guidance, the very special guidance of a world-renowned Pisco expert, Mr. Johnny Schuler, who I'll be introducing in a few moments, and the talented mixologist, Giancarlo Nazario. So thank you all for being here with us, as I said. And to start us off, I would like to introduce Mr. Colin Stewart, Chairman of LATA and UK Director of Air Europa, for his opening remarks. Thank you, Colin.
Thank you, Ambassador, and thank you for the introduction. We're really pleased at LATA to be able to welcome you all in partnership with our friends at the Embassy of Peru. I just want to give you a little bit of an overview of who we are, and just in case there are those on the call that may be unaware, and also a little bit of a background on how we work with the media moving forward. So LATA, the Latin American Travel Association, we have over 350 members from the travel sector, operating to and from Latin America, including hotels, airlines, tour operators, DMCs, destinations, tourist boards. And so we are well established in promoting all things Latin American. And tonight is a great opportunity for us to try something different and something a bit new and creative. And I hope that you enjoy what we put on today in conjunction with Peru. It's interesting at the moment with all the Latin American destinations currently are majority put on the red list by the government. Where we see it is that we actually see the situation as more nuanced than that. Many countries are managing the pandemic very effectively in Latin America with very low case numbers. We hope the travel ban is renewed soon so that we can, together with our members, give a little bit of hope for travel and tourism moving forward. We do want to encourage messages of book for the future and specifically with a tour operator who can provide that financial protection and also that reassurance and expertise. LATA members have seen an increase in popularity of gastronomic tourism to Peru in recent years. In a recent travel intelligence report commissioned by our friends at Lotus, 13.2% saw exciting food experience is very important to UK visitors to Peru. And 17.9, almost 18%, saw fine dining as also very important. With its excellent gastronomy scene, Peru is now seen as one of South America's foodie destinations. And our tour operator members are often asked for food and drink based tours, such as cooking classes and pisco making tours, which are good introductory tour to Peruvian culture and cuisine. So we're very excited that we can facilitate education and travel to such a wonderful destination in Latin America. I just also want to spend a minute or two just explaining how we work with the media for those of you who are unaware. So Lotus, who many of you are familiar with, we've got Kate, George and Amber with us tonight, are our PR agency. And we send our news on behalf of the LATA members who are also on hand to help with any media inquiries that you may have relating to travel to and from, specifically to Latin America. We'd like to comment on any travel issues impacting Latin America. We can also reach out and poll our members on specific news themes if that is of use and of importance. Our members can offer support with press trips. Member support is always subject to the scope of the coverage, but Lotus can matchmake journalists to specific LATA members subject to the angle that you would like to push. We also recognise journalists' work within the LATA media, within LATA, and we are grateful for your contribution to the LATA Media Awards. And we'll be making an announcement soon regarding the 2020 awards, which had to be postponed. And we look forward to kind of moving forward with that this year. Just finally, I'd like to just kind of make you aware of the LATA's charitable arm, the LATA Foundation. We're launching a fundraising campaign on the 1st of March to raise funds for out-of-work Inca Trail porters in Peru. The campaign, Peru 25 for 25, calls on those who have trekked the Inca Trail and the wider public to challenge themselves to take on 25 miles, the length of the Inca Trail. That can be via a run, swim, walk, or whatever format you prefer. Throughout March 2021, to raise money for this cause with this target, each £25 raised will cover an essential food parcel for one porter and their family for 1 month, with 100% of donated funds going directly towards the purchase of these food parcels. It's a really worthwhile cause. We hope that you can support it. We hope that you can promote it. And if there's any additional questions that you may have regarding more about that, we'd be happy, the team and I would be happy to share that. So we're really excited at LATA to be involved tonight. We look forward to a wonderful evening. And without further ado, I'll pass the time back to the ambassador. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Colin. Very, very interesting initiative. And I hope we can help you in making it as successful as possible. Our next panelist is Andres Duani. He's Business Development Manager at the Trade Office here in London, and he will give us some information on the presence of Pisco in the UK market. Please, Andres.
Hi, thank you very much, Ambassador. Yes, as the Ambassador said, my name is Andres Duani. I'm a specialist at the Trade Commission of Peru in London. On behalf of the office and my director, Mr. Ricardo Romero, who unfortunately couldn't make it here. Let me thank the Ambassador Gamarra, the team at the Embassy of Peru and LATA for this invitation. It is definitely a pleasure to be here and be part of it. So a little bit about us. We are part of PROM Peru, which is the Peruvian agency for the promotion of trade, investment and tourism into Peru. And we've been working with the embassy in many projects, and we continue to do this. We will continue to do this throughout the year and the time to come. A little bit about Pisco in the market. Pisco has been commercialized in the British market consistently over the past 5 years now. Over this period of time, imports into the UK have reached almost $1.2 million, which is roughly under £1 million. And the UK has accounted for slightly over 12% of total imports into Europe. So definitely the UK is a very important market for us. And Pisco is sold here through more than 10 different brands. Of course, it's considered to be a niche spirit within the luxury spirit segment, with retail prices ranging between 25 to 45 pounds per bottle. Bottles usually come in 500 to 700 milliliters. And of course, you can find Pisco in several online and also brick and mortar retailers, including stores such as Amazon, Distillery Direct, drink company among many others, which we'll be sharing at the end of the event. Of course, 2020 has been a very difficult time for this industry, and of course for Pisco as well. The pandemic has impacted the people's lives, and with that, the luxury spirit sales have experienced a dramatic drop of 25%. Imports of Pisco have been impacted similarly here in the market, but we're expecting to recover in the next year and next few years, probably reaching the same levels in 2022, 2023, depending on how this evolves. There is still a lot to do in terms of the promotion of Pisco. In fact, the country brand Pisco Spirits of Peru was launched back in 2019. And with that, we are looking to bring a new momentum to the Peruvian spirits. At the Trade Commission of Peru in London, we will be looking to develop some close relationships with key partners in the distribution chain and to promote and facilitate trade of Pisco and also many other products that come from Peru. We will continue to work together with the Embassy of Peru to maximize the presence of our national drink here in the United Kingdom. Thank you.
Andres, thank you very much. And now, before we start to prepare the Chilcano, I'd like if you could spare a few moments to watch a very interesting video about Pisco, and then we'll go on with the program.
Dear world, I come from these wonderful valleys nestled between the Pacific and the Andes. I am the essence of a land like no other, cared for by all Peruvians since time began. I hold with me that wisdom which cannot be taught, but can be learned, day after day, night after night. I bring with me the drive for perfection. That drive that knows the secret always lies in the details. I bring the joy of my people etched into the heart like a smile. This is the sun that awakens me, to which we open the door each day. My recipe is no secret, but it is without rival. It has something of him, of her, of them, of everyone. I am the true Pisco. The Pisco that today all Peruvians dedicate to you. Peru, dedicated to you, dedicated to the world.
Thank you. Okay, so now for the Chilcano, it's great for me to welcome mixologist Giancarlo Nazario, who has a remarkable trajectory that started in the US in 2006, where he gained experience in the mixology world. After that, he returned to Peru, started teaching at the San Ignacio de Loyola University. Known for developing molecular mixology in Latin America, he was nominated Best Bartender of the Year in 2012 by Barricas.com. Since then, he has been representing different Pisco brands and liquor companies, working on TV shows and participating in exhibitions such as Mistura and Peru Mucho Gusto. Giancarlo, please take the floor.
Thank you, Ambassador, and welcome everybody. I'm flattered. And well, today we're gonna do classic Pisco cocktails, which I know you guys are gonna love, and we're gonna start with the first one that is very well known now because it's very simple to make. The second one that we're gonna make later on is a Pisco Sour, which it requires some tips for you to achieve a great Pisco Sour. All right, so today we're gonna do basically a Chilcano, which is a don't get it wrong. A lot of people when I say Chilcano, they think it's like a Mexican American because of the name Chilcano, but no, Chilcano basically is a cocktail that was created here in the 19th century with the arrivals of the Italian immigrants here in Peru. When they got situated along the coast, the Italians back in the days, they used to drink a cocktail called the Buongiorno. What was the Buongiorno? It was a cocktail, a highball cocktail made out of grappa. But remember, it was the 19th century, and to get a shipment of grappa from Italy, it took months, even years. So what happened was that when Italians noticed that the Peruvians were drinking a pisco as a spirit made out of grapes, they started mixing it up, and they came up with like a better cocktail. So they decided to rename the cocktail, but to a more traditional name. And since the Italians got located along the coast, they used to notice that these fishermen, they used to drink a soup made out of fish heads, which is a classic here in Peru. And that fish soup is called Chilcano. And that's why they named this cocktail a Chilcano, because it was basically sort of like a pickup hangover cocktail for them, you know? So I know you guys have samples, Pisco bottle samples. And since we're gonna do 2 cocktails and I know it's a small bottle, what we're gonna do is basically make sure when we make this cocktail, just half of the bottle, and half of the other portion we will use it for the pisco sour. All right. So what I will recommend, first, grab a highball glass, or if, well, for the amount of pisco that you have, you can grab a smaller glass. In this case, fill it up with ice. All right, and this is my ratio that I like to use for my Chilcano. So basically, I always fill up the glass, put the amount of pisco. All right. Usually, what in your case, you're putting a half of the bottle into the glass, right? Whatever the amount that you see on the glass, that's gonna be a quarter of your cocktail. The rest of it, the 3/4 that you need to fill in, is with the ginger ale that you also have. All right. So basically, in here, I have my glass with a quarter of liquor. All right. And prior to put the ginger ale, I'm just gonna drop 1 little drop of Angostura bitters. Just 1 drop. I don't want the Angostura bitters to overpower the pisco flavor, you know. And then what I'm gonna do is gonna grab a little bit of lime, throw some drops in there. You can drop the lime in there, okay, and you can just fill it up, all the 3/4 of ginger ale. Now, as you're gonna notice when you taste this cocktail, it's basically, I always like to say that this is sort of like a version of a Cuba Libre in a way of making, you know, because if you go anywhere around the world, if you and you order a rum and coke or a Cuba Libre, everybody knows how to make Cuba Libre. And this cocktail is as simple as it gets. It's very simple, not too much science to it. But if you really want to impress someone at home, you know, usually what I do, I grab the lime, peel a little bit of the skin of the lime. Okay, just the skin, and use the essence, the oil essence of the lime. Throw it on top. And if you're gonna see, the skin is shiny because all the oils have been retained as well on the skin. And what I do, I always grab the skin and pass it around the rim and just throw it in there. That's it. As simple as it gets. And cheers. If you guys are practicing this method of making Chilcano, cheers with you guys.
Cheers. Thank you so much, Giancarlo. We'll get back to you in a while. But this is fantastic to get started. And so while we enjoy our Chilcanos, I'd like to introduce Mr. Johnny Schuler, one of the world's foremost Pisco authorities. He's dedicated much of his life to setting the standards of excellence in the Pisco industry. And he's been motivating interest in Peru's native spirit for a very, very long time. As a Pisco ambassador, he's traveled throughout Peru and the world, educating spirits industry professionals and promoting the culture, heritage, and craftsmanship that makes Pisco so unique. Respected worldwide for his outstanding knowledge, Johnny was awarded the Medal of Honor by the Peruvian Congress in recognition of his work as a promoter of Pisco and defender of Peruvian culture and tradition. He continues his work as an ambassador for Pisco, speaking regularly at wine and spirit tasting events and competitions, including the prestigious Concours Mondial de Bruxelles, where he has been a judge for over 17 years. His vast experience and enthusiasm for Pisco could also be appreciated in his popular television show Las Rutas del Pisco, which was screened in Latin America and the United States and currently is presented on YouTube. Thank you very much, Johnny, for being with us, and please take the floor.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. Thank you very much for the invitation. And great show, Giancarlo, with that Chilcano there. I'll further amplify what the ambassador began saying, what Pisco is. I would like to share with you what the origin and what really the product is. What is Pisco? The word comes from Quechua. Quechua is one of the 3 official languages of Peru. Quechua is spoken by about 80% of the Andean population in this country still today. In Quechua, Pisco means small bird. This was the name of a tribe from the Nazca culture. The Nazca culture were known, most of you remember the Nazca lines, which is near Ica, it's in Ica where our wine growing region is. So this ethnic group, the Piscos or the Piscos, gave the name to a container, this container that I have here. This was called a pisco originally, where they used to keep their chicha, their brew. When the Spanish arrived, they put their wine in there, and then later we are using it until today to keep piscos. And here these are called botijas, and this is a couple hundred years old. Well, the word pisco from this ethnic group gave the name to a river, Rio Pisco, to a valley, Valle de Pisco, to a village, Pisco Pueblo, to the port, Pisco Puerto, and like Jerez, like Oporto, like Porto, like Champagne, like Cognac, the village, the port, gave the name to the spirit, to the product that was shipped from that port. Pisco. And Pisco, I am going to take my camera and show you, forgive me for doing this, a map dated 1584, Diego Mendez, and in that map, the port of Pisco already is drawn, painted, and designed. 1584, and that is in the coast of Peru, 300 kilometers south of Lima. So what is really Pisco? You see behind me about, I have a collection here where in my cellar, in my house, about 2,000 different bottles, labels of Pisco. Pisco is this. Pisco is a different spirit. It is made from 8 different grapes, as the ambassador said, Vitis vinifera grapes, but it goes into a different strategy of production. It's a different product. The singularities are very simple. First, we can only distill once in copper pot stills. We cannot do it twice like cognac, like whiskey, like gin, like vodka, like rum, and tequila. We can only go once to the still. We have to land between 38 and 48 ABV % of alcohol in that first distillation. We cannot redistill to increase. As we cannot redistill, we are not allowed to use water. We are distilled to proof. Very few products in the bars today can claim they are distilled to proof. Right? We are not made from pomace. We're made from freshly fermented juice, freshly fermented must. We're made from wine. We're distilling not a Cabernet Sauvignon, a Merlot, a Malbec, a finished wine, but we've pressed the grapes, these Vitis vinifera grapes. We've extracted the must. We let natural yeasts attack, ferment, change the sugar into alcohol, and then we just let it be. Nothing added, nothing touched. Fermentation finishes in our case in I would say about 5 days, 6 days, depending on the temperature. Or we are harvesting right now. It's summertime down here. In our case, in our distillery, in our vineyards, we're on the 4th day today. Is our 4th day of harvest. We've just begun. So 1 shot for the still, 1 distillation, distilled to proof, no water added, made from a freshly fermented musk wine, no additives, no chaptalization, no sugar, of course, no water, of course, and then we cannot put it into wood. We do not want to oak our spirit. We don't want to change what Pachamama, what Mother Earth gave us. We don't want to change nature's gifts. Here is the Inti, that sun in the deserts of Ica that burned the daylights out of those berries, the beautiful sand that we have in the desert, water from melting glaciers up in the Andes that trickle down to the coast. Wonderful. Pisco is a different product. It's completely singular. It's different. And then, with all these 8 grapes in this controlled by a denomination of origin, we can only produce in 5 regions: Ica, Lima, Arequipa, Moquegua, and Tacna on the Pacific coast, and only coastal valleys up to 1,000 meters. So very delimited geographical area, protected by a denomination of origin. We have to go through all kinds of exams and tests to certify and to get the authorization to call it Pisco. We can produce 3 types of Piscos that we can see in the different things here. We can make puros, which is a Pisco that is distilled when the wine is dry. We allow the yeast to take over, eat all the sugar in the must, all the sugar, completely digest all the sugar, 0 sugar. We take this mother wine, this raw wine, into the still. Copper pot stills, very much like a French Chanté stills. Much of the scenes that you saw in the clip, fortunately, were taken at our distillery. Surprised to me, I had no idea you were showing that clip. But those are taken into the copper pot stills. When it's dry, it's called Pisco Puro. Puro means pure in Spanish, but puro also means Pisco distilled when the wine is dry. Opposite to that, you have Piscos that are called Mosto Verde. Mosto Verde, which is the one I'm sharing with you today, Mosto Verde is a Pisco that's distilled when the wine is still sweet, when we still have about, I would say, 20% residual sugar, about, I would say, 5% bricks left in the wine. We take it, we don't stop fermentation. We take it, we open the valve, and we take it to the still, right? Alive, fermenting. Right? For the Pisco Puro, we need about 4 to 6 kilos of grapes per liter. For a Mosto Verde, we need 12 and 14 kilos of grapes per liter. Why? Because we didn't allow the yeast to convert all the sugar into potential alcohol. But in turn, it gives us a Pisco that is absolutely fantastic. We have to understand that the Quebranta, which is the mission grape from California, the original grape that came to America, brought from the Canary Islands, which is the originally, for you guys, journalists that you know about wine, is the Listán Negra from the Canary Islands. Listán Prieta is the grape that came to this continent in 1550s. Because don't forget, when the conquistadores came over here, they were followed by groups of priests. And they found, to their dismay, that there were no grapes in this continent. No grapes meant no wine. No wine meant no mass on Sunday. So we have to thank those wonderful little priests for bringing those grapes and making this happen, right? So this is how it finally arrived here, right? So then, planted in the deserts of Ica, it began to produce abundantly, but a wine that was a little claret, a wine that was not too strong, not too body, a wine that didn't last very long. So very quickly, these missionaries put it into a still and turned it into a spirit. We can make 8 different pisco puros, one monovarietal from each one of the 8 grapes. We can make 8 different mosto verdes. And then the third category of piscos is called acholado. Acholado is an expression, a very, very colloquial expression in Peru, that means in the type of the field workers, which is the field workers used to harvest whatever grape they could, put them all together, and make one pisco. All they wanted was to drink. They don't want to be sophisticated making monovarietal piscos. So we have 3 categories. And the acholado for me is maybe one of the most fantastic categories because of the complexity that each grape adds. This is like a good French wine that has Cabernet Sauvignon, Petit Verdot, and Malbec. 3 different grapes. Each grape adding some particular quality to the organoleptic structure that we are going to appreciate when we put our noses or our palate to the pisco. This is what it is. Pisco is a beautiful, beautiful product. Super cocktails. I've had the opportunity to be in London and England, in different cities in England for 3 times. I am the Connaught Bar, the Savoy, the Ritz, wonderful piscos in those bars. And then if you come to Lima, don't forget the richness of our food culture. Just as an example, just a little pearl, a jewel for you guys. Peru has, they say, we have a potato institute here, that they have about 4,000 different varieties, registered varieties of potatoes. Well, that gives us the opportunity that in UK published their list of the best 50 restaurants in all of Latin America. 11, the top 11 of the top 11 restaurants are here in Peru. Of the 50 restaurants, 11 are here, and I think 4 of the top 10 on that list are here in Lima. So this, come on, Europa, bring them down. We're waiting for you guys. Good food. We are the capital of gastronomy in Latin America. We are the cultural archaeological capital of South America. Come and visit Machu Picchu. I applaud Colin, that project you have. I think it's really fantastic. If there's anything that we can do from this side to support the project, please let us know. We'd be happy to. At least we can give your hikers a couple of bottles for them to take through the walk to make it easier up in the Andes. But anyway, I think you're doing a magnificent job. This is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. A wonderful, beautiful, clean, no wood, no external coloring, no agents, no preservatives, no sugar. One pass to the still, absolutely pure. Pisco, the spirit of Peru. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Johnny. That was great. You just reminded me that when you talked about the pisco in having pisco here in the UK, I was watching TV, a series that I'd never seen before. I think it's on Sky TV, called Extraordinary Escapes. Perhaps many of the people that are watching are here today have seen this series with Sandy Toksvig, and the fourth chapter of the series. Sandy goes with a friend to a very special house, and there's a mixologist waiting for them, and he prepares 2 drinks for them, and one of them is a pisco sour. Apparently Sandy enjoys pisco sour very much, and the wonderful thing was that the mixologist was very acquainted with it being a very Peruvian drink, so I was very happy to watch that. So now we go back to Giancarlo, who will show us how to make a wonderful pisco sour.
All right, thank you again, Ambassador. Well, for this cocktail it's a little bit tricky to do it in different countries, because the thing about here in Peru is that we, like Johnny says, we are very grateful because God gave you this land that has so many climates that brings up different fruits and vegetables and unique ingredients that we use not only in gastronomy but also actually in the cocktail world. And actually, the limes that we have here in Peru, they're a little bit more citrus than the typical limes that you find anywhere around the world. Around 2016, 15, I was in the UK, and basically I was having a hard time making pisco sours at this restaurant called Pachamama in the UK. And what I did basically to imitate just a little bit of how our limes work here in Peru is basically I extract lime juice or bought some lime juice. I know you guys get the lime juice in boxes there. And basically what I did is add up a little bit of citric acid just to step up a little bit more of the citrusness on the juice. All right, and it turned out pretty well. So whenever you want to do this further, pisco sours at home, and you want to impress even Peruvians or friends that have been to Peru, just a little bit of citrus acid that you guys can find it everywhere, and basically it will step up a little bit more of the citrusness of your limes anywhere around the world. All right, so first thing to make a great pisco sour, we need some lime juice. I have some lime juice here, fresh squeezed lime juice that I kept in the refrigerator to keep this freshness alive. I have some simple syrup. Now the simple syrup, I know you guys have some of you guys have some simple syrup there, and you might wonder, oh, how can I where can I get this? It's very simple. That's why it's called simple syrup. But the ratios that we use our simple syrup here in Peru is basically 1 part water, boiling water, for 2 parts of sugar. And at the end, just grab some lime and squeeze a little bit of lime juice or lemon juice on top of it. So it will prevent for the simple syrup to caramelize. All right. So basically what we're going to do is I'm going to use my shaker. If you guys don't have a shaker at home, you can use a mason jar, because they're really hard glass. If you don't have a mason jar, you can use a blender. But now, if you're using a blender, remember that what we're trying to do with a blender is trying to imitate our shaker. So it's not like usually when we use a blender, we just turn it on and let everything blend together. When I use a blender, I usually put all the ingredients into the blender and basically use the pulse of the blender. I don't want the cocktail to get to the blender to crush all the ice and basically ended up with a frozen pisco sour. So what we're gonna do here, as well, here as a bartender, I have measuring tools. But if you don't have a measuring tools and you have like a small glass or a shot glass, what you can do is basically use the shot glass as a measuring tool. Usually shot glasses are 2 ounces. So usually the classic way to make a pisco sour is 3 parts pisco, 1 part lime juice, 1 part simple syrup, and 1 part egg white. It's very simple to remember. Here in Peru, there's categories of pisco sours. I mean, the one that I'm mentioning to you is a classic pisco sour, but as well, there's people that like to drink 4 ounces of pisco, 1 ounce of lime juice, 1 ounce of simple syrup. The 4-1-1, what we call it. And it's all up to you how you like. I mean, if you're using a pure pisco or a green must pisco, it depends. It's up to you. I always like my 4-1-1 with green must because it's like more flavor of the grape. And that's one thing that I always like to say, you know, because here in Peru there's a saying that we have piscos that are aromatic and non-aromatic, and which I think is totally wrong, because I think pisco is aromatic and more aromatic, because we're not for me a non-aromatic is, it reminds me of vodka, you know, and pisco is not vodka. You know, the pure pisco, when you taste it, it's like you feel all the flavor of the grape. Sometimes they give you like chocolate, hay, or it gives you a lucuma, like fruits, like very native fruit from here. So let's get cracking now. All right, so first, in this case, I'm using my shaker. And if you guys have a shaker and you wanna come along with me on making this cocktail, I'm pretty sure most of you guys have like half of the bottle. So what I will do, if I was you in there, grab the bottle of pisco, just throw it in there, throw it into your shaker, the half of the pisco, all right? And you can even use the bottle as a measuring tool, you know? So since you already put that amount in there, throw the amount of pisco that you put in there, just throw a quarter of amount of lime juice, a quarter of amount of simple syrup, and a quarter of that amount of egg whites. All right. And well, in here I got all the tools as a good bartender. In this case, I'm gonna use a quebranta. Before I use La Caravedo Torontel. In this case, I'm using a Porton green must quebranta, which is considered as a non-aromatic. But if you were to be here with me and you took a whiff on this bottle, it's like, you will love it. And prior to start our cocktail, what we're gonna do, since this cocktail doesn't go with ice like whiskey sours or other sours, what we're gonna do is first we're gonna prepare our glass. Our glass have to be nice and chill, nice and cold. So what I'm gonna do is gonna throw some ice into my glass. All right, just put it on the side while I'm adding my ingredients and start making my ingredients. All right, so in this case, I'm gonna throw my pisco in there. I'm going to add up the quarter amount of the pisco of lime juice, simple syrup, equal parts, and equal parts as well of egg white. Basically, egg whites. If you don't have the egg whites, I know some of you they were having some egg white problems over there. If you don't have egg whites, no problem. You can go ahead and do it. Egg whites, basically, the purpose of the egg white is to give the texture of the pisco sour. Okay. And now, once we have this in our shaker, as you can see, I'm just closing my shaker. I'm not throwing any ice into it. Okay. What I'm gonna do is what we call, the bartenders, we call it a dry shake. Okay. So basically what I'm gonna do is gonna shake it up without ice, just to make sure everything gets nice and mixed and frothy. Okay. Gonna open it up again. And then I'm gonna throw the ice. Remember, if you don't want to go through all this process of making it on a shaker, just use the blender. But remember, when you use your blender, use the blender by pulses. Don't let the blender to get the whole force into the drink. All right. So now we're gonna close our shaker again. All right, and we're gonna shake. How long you're gonna shake? It depends on the type of ice that you guys have. I'm pretty sure you guys can get pretty good quality ice over there. So it's about 10 to 15 seconds. All right. Once your hands start getting really, really cold, that's the time to stop. All right. So we're gonna throw the ice that was keeping our glass chill. As you can see, now it's nice and chill. It's ready for our cocktail. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna throw our cocktail into the glass. We're gonna stop in the middle. We're gonna swirl our shaker because basically all the foam goes to the back, all right? And what we want is the foam to go to the front. And that's it. And at the end, you can just throw a little bit of Angostura bitters on top of it. Now, if you don't have Angostura bitters at home, some people here in Peru, some old school bartenders, what they do, they sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon. The reason why they put Angostura bitters or cinnamon is basically to neutralize the smell of the egg white. Some people, they don't like the smell of the egg white. So basically that's the purpose of the Angostura bitters, all the cinnamon on top of the cocktail. And that's it. If you follow this step, I'm pretty sure you guys are going to accomplish a great pisco sour, and you guys are going to share this great cocktail among your friends. But remember, pisco has so many varieties of grapes that you can substitute your favorite drink, your favorite spirit for pisco, and you're going to accomplish a great cocktail. The different grapes that pisco have, the 8 grapes that pisco has, it makes it a chameleon into the cocktail world because you can explore different cocktails. For example, the Chilcano that we made before, you can substitute it for example, I know you guys drink a lot of Moscow mules. You can make a Peruvian mule with pisco. You can make, instead of making Manhattans or drinking Manhattans, you can have it with pisco instead of whiskey. If you like Negronis, if you like a nice aperitif like a Negroni, you can substitute gin for pisco, and trust me, you will not regret it. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you very much, Giancarlo. And very well, you mentioned that those other cocktails you can prepare. I always remember that we used to do Pisco Tonic, which is just
exactly
a vodka tonic with pisco instead of vodka. So now
exactly.
I think Danny will take care of the question and answers.
I don't think we have any at the moment. I don't know if people want to just show their piscos on screen so that maybe Giancarlo can have a look at what everyone's created.
I'll ask one question, one or two, because there's always things that have to be learned, even by Peruvians, and some information shared. What is a cathedral, Giancarlo?
A cathedral is basically what we call it a double pisco sour, and the reason why they call it a cathedral, because since it's such a big amount of pisco sour, they used to put it on these glasses, the piña colada glasses, like the hurricane glasses, and they look like sort of like the silhouette of a cathedral. That's what they used to call it cathedrals.
Is that glass you have there the size of a cathedral? The other one, the one that's
no,
empty? the other
one. No.
Huh?
This is regular one.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Well, pisco sour is one of the cocktails that you go to a bartender book. Is one of them cocktails that has more alcohol than any other cocktail around the world. Well, it can be really close to the Long Island iced tea, I will say, but yeah, it is one of them that has the most liquor of all.
Which leads me to the next question. How many of your pisco sours would you recommend somebody having on any one night?
I would recommend at least most of it that you can drink of pisco sours is either 3, the most. My recommendation is 3 the most. A lot of people, they like to drink more, but I would not recommend so much pisco sour because it's more of a aperitif cocktail. You know, actually, I'm getting hungry right now. But the thing is that it has simple syrup. You know, I'm talking about if you're drinking 3 pisco sours, you're drinking 3 ounces of simple syrup. So that's a lot of sugar, you know, and sugar and hangovers don't go that well, you know.
I was going to suggest if everybody switches back to gallery, you can see how your colleagues have got on with their piscos. That should be working, I think. We have got a couple of people put their hands up. So, Russell, do you have something you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, I've got a question while we're here with Giancarlo.
Yes.
Sorry about the lockdown madness. Thank you very much, thank you very much, Giancarlo. It was an amazing
nice.
pisco sour. Yeah.
Thank you.
It.
Thank you.
And my question to you is, and to the ambassador as well, is that doing a bit of, you know, masterclass research, I purchased some piscos here in London.
Okay.
And what I was able to find was a Barsol.
Okay.
Okay, which is pretty strong and has a strong flavor. And also this Viñas de Oro, which are both Quebranta, which was much more floral and fragrant and had a lot more fruity flavor to it. What kind of piscos would you recommend for people who are starting out, who want to start making their pisco sours, given that we've got a very limited range of piscos that we can purchase here in the UK?
Right. All right. Well, first of all, as for your reaction, you know, you said, oh, I tried this one and it's very strong, and I tried this one, it's more floral. Which one would you like the most? I mean, we have so much variety of piscos. I'm pretty sure I will invite you to next time you go to a liquor store to try a Porton Green Must. You are going to love it. All right. Usually what I always recommend for the people that are starting to drink pisco, usually go for the aromatic piscos. Like acholado, which is basically a acholado is a blend of grapes. Okay. Or usually as well go for Italia grape as well, is very good. Quebranta is, like I said, in this case, in Porton, in this case, this is a Quebranta. It's supposedly a non-aromatic, but if you try it and if you taste it, you take a sip of it, it's like you bite in the grape. So I always recommend to go for the green must. Don't go first with the pure piscos. Go for the green must. That's a good choice.
Okay, nice.
All right.
Farida, I think you have your hand up as well.
I do. Hi, everyone. Hola.
Hello. Hola.
Thank you so much. That was a really, really exciting evening, and I feel like I genuinely learnt quite a lot. I've never been to Peru, and as a passionate Hispanophile, I'm quite ashamed of that fact. But when the world returns back to normal and I want to spend, let's say, 3 or 4 days in Lima and then go and explore the rest of the country, where are the 3 or 4 pisco institutions, bars in Lima that I shouldn't miss? If I was to go on a pisco trail, per se, where are the 3 or 4 Lima I should go to?
Well, one of the ones I would recommend is Barole. All right, Barole is a classic a cocktail bar, which they have a great Capitan. Capitan is a version of a Manhattan. You know, it's basically Pisco Vermouth and Angostura bitters, but they make it so unique there that it's unbelievable. I would recommend that. I will recommend, let's see, obviously, if you want to do a little bit of history of how the pisco sour of the pisco sour got so much known around the world, you have to go to the downtown Lima, to a Bar Bolivar in Hotel Bolivar, which they're making great cocktails now. And let's say another place.
I have one, Giancarlo. One that's very important is the Bar Mauri, which is very, very well known for its pisco, pisco sour especially. And with the advantage that, as Giancarlo mentioned, it's downtown. It's in the historic part of Lima, just a block away from the best building probably the best building in Peru of colonial architecture, which is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but it's called the Palacio de Torre Tagle. That it's only a block away, so it's worthwhile your visit. The Hotel Mauri. I'm sure Johnny has some suggestions as well.
I would suggest, of course, the English bar at the Country Club Hotel. For me, the best piece of
the English bar at the Country Hotel.
Yeah, at the Country Club, the English bar.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Okay. 5:30 in the afternoon, that's the place to be for a good pisco sour.
I agree.
We've got a few there to start with, Farida, so you should be all right for the first few drinks.
I'm sure I'll find more.
But for further, if you ever down here in Peru, and any of you guys come down here to Peru, please don't hesitate to give us a call, and I'll be more than glad to organize a pisco tour or a bar crawling around the best bars in Lima whenever you guys want.
There you go. Everybody will be booking flights in the next hour, Giancarlo. Jamie, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, hello, hi. Thanks for the free booze. That always is a way to get started. Even if we can't go to industry events, why not do this instead? Thank you for that. Weirdly, just today, I've been spending most of it trying to write about this, a drink from Ecuador that they are trying to pitch as their national drink, because poor little Ecuador doesn't really have a national drink. And I was sort of rounding up the countries around about that do have a national drink. And I got to having to describe Peru and then that other lot just to the north. And I was wondering, how serious is the rivalry to do with Pisco between Chile and Peru? Because, for example, here in Scotland, we're pretty relaxed about the fact that the Irish make good whiskey as well. They spell it incorrectly, but the actual product's not bad. So I just wondered, in the piece I've referred to you guys as squabbling. Would that be accurate, or is it something more serious than that?
Jamie, can I take it? Ambassador, you allow me to take it?
Please.
All right. Jamie, I think as I showed at the beginning of the project, the beginning of the conversation, the map here of Diego Méndez of 1584. The original name of Pisco is a port of Peru, right? That's where the name is taken. Now, of course, the word whiskey, like vodka, has become generic, right? In the case of Pisco, there's basically only two countries that make it, Peru and Chile. Now, when did Chile change their name? Because the other country that has a product similar to us is Bolivia, and it's called Singani.
Singani, yeah.
Singani, made in Bolivia. So the difference, what we have to go and we have to face is, I'm not going to defend whether it's better or which one is better or which one is worse. I'm not going to say which one is older, which one is younger. I'm not going to say. I have the documents to prove anything I say. The problem is that it's two different products, as you say. First, we can only distill once. Chile distills twice. We are distilled to proof. Chile adds water. We cannot chaptalize. Chile chaptalizes. We cannot rest an oak. Chile rests an oak. Where the name came from? From the map of 1584. The name is Peruvian. In the war of 1879, the invading forces, the generals tried a product. Hey, what's this called? This is called Pisco. We should call our spirit the same. When the Spanish conquered South America, every country, every of the South American colonies had missions that produced spirits. They all called it destilado, aguardiente in Colombia, destilado in Ecuador, Pisco in Peru, Singani in Bolivia, aguardiente in Argentina. And why they called it Pisco in Chile? Because everybody that makes a white wine that is bubbly wants to be called champagne. Thank you.
I think we'll say it's Peruvian, shall we? And, and leave it at that. Nori, you've got your hand up.
Hi, yeah. I was just thinking along the same lines. I lived in Chile for 6 years, but I've drunk more Pisco in Peru and done more traveling in Peru. And I just wondered, I think the best Pisco I ever had was a maracuya sour. And I don't know what you feel about that, about using, like, I know you also had a coca leaf sour in the Altiplano, and I really like all the different varieties of sour that you can have using Pisco, but I don't know where you stand on that, Giancarlo. Maybe it's too
I mean,
too
yeah,
much.
I mean, like I said, there's so much variety of the cocktail world now, and yeah, I mean, substituting the lime juice for passion fruit juice and get a passion fruit sour, that's just great. Actually, they also have pickling pears sour. I mean, they have a coca sour. They have. That's why I was gonna recommend as well this restaurant called Maita. The bar this bar has like about 110 different type of piscos infused with different types of leaves and fruits and vegetables as well, and you can have sours of different type of flavors, and not only that, you can have like different type of cocktails with that flavor. We don't have nothing against that. It's just I think it's a different variety of a sour, which is pretty interesting, because basically what we do here is, or what we do, all the bartenders behind the bar, is to please the customer. We don't we don't put our foot down and be like, no, you gotta drink this all the time. No, I mean, it's a great way to show how Pisco can go to a different level.
The versatility.
Versatility.
Yep. Thank you.
Freddie, you have a question?
Yes, hi everyone. I just want to say I was very pleased to have my first ever Pisco Sour in Aguas Calientes, just at the foot of Machu Picchu, followed by an incredible one at Estrella de Gaston in Lima, which was an incredible experience in general. But a question for Giancarlo, as I have this evening, what's your opinion on using aqua faba, or the water from a can of chickpeas, instead of egg white in your Pisco Sour?
It has been being used a lot in the bar world, especially for the vegans. You know, a lot of people that are vegans are you know, they're, when they see that you putting egg whites into the cocktail, they were like, hey, you know, like, I'm not Rocky, you know, or basically, yeah, it's a good option. But it's sort of, for me, especially as a bartender, it changed a little bit of the texture of the cocktail, and as well all the flavor of the cocktail. But I mean, other than that, you know, it's a good option for vegans. I have nothing against on that, but you know, if you're a vegan, hey, more power to you, you know. But I like my cocktails the classic way. And plus, a lot of people, when I used to attend bars, a lot of people, they're afraid of, you know, a cocktail that has egg whites because of the salmonella. But remember, every time I hear this, you know, remember, it has more than 40% alcohol. If there's a salmonella bacteria, this will kill it right away.
Ambassador, may I just interrupt for a second? It's Jeffrey Mudd Evans here. Unfortunately, really bad planning, I have to go somewhere else. But I have to tell you, really congratulate you all. I think it's been a most wonderful event. Having, as I told you in our last call, been to Pisco myself, at a rather dramatic time, admittedly, but having been many times to Peru, it brings back so many wonderful memories of, especially Lima, and the fantastic hospitality opportunities that you have there. It's been a wonderful event. I congratulate you. I congratulate LATA. I congratulate Giancarlo and Johnny. I think it's been a wonderful event. I'm really sad to go, but I think the next session is going to be very easy. I've got a very good platform now after a couple of Piscos. I'm feeling great. No pain. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much
for having accompanied us.
It's been great. Thank you. And I'm sorry to be leaving. As the French say, good continuation.
Thank you very much.
There you go.
Good to see you once more.
Cheers.
Right, so I think that's, I don't think there's any other questions at the moment, unless anybody wants to raise their hand quickly. Right, so we're probably back to you, Ambassador.
Yes, well, first of all, to thank Giancarlo and Johnny very much for their help in organizing this event. They've been very, very gracious to join us, and it's really been fantastic to hear the passion with which they promote our national spirit. I'd also obviously like to thank LATA very much for doing this joint venture, and I hope it'll be the first of many future events. I'm sure that this will help you all to know about the versatility, the quality of this wonderful product, this wonderful spirit we have in Peru, and perhaps it'll encourage you to spread the word, because as I said at the beginning, it's a drink that is being more and more used internationally, accompanying our wonderful gastronomy. But I think it's still underused, and there's much more space for growth. So if you can help us, that would be wonderful. So once again, thank you very much. It's been wonderful to have you accompanying us. I hope you've enjoyed yourselves. I still have a bit of my drink left, so I'll still be tasting some of this wonderful spirit of Peru. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you all soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. That was a great time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.